Good afternoon, everyone. This is the Old Man in the War coming to you with a paracord crafting design today. This is called the Apollo bar, which has been done by a number of other people that I've seen both from Facebook groups as well as online. I have not actually found a good video on it. I have run into several pictograph formats of how to do it. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a video that will hopefully cover what you need to do in order to be able to do this. So right off from the top, I do apologize for my camera angle. I have not done many videos on YouTube in relation to this, so please be patient. I'll try to show the angles the best that I can, but I'm just going to quickly go over the tools that we use. I, for myself, use a 1-foot ruler to measure my paracord lengths, so that is both in inches as well as centimeters. I do live in the United States, so I follow the inches format. Anybody who is outside of the country, please go ahead and follow that format to go from a centimeters perspective. For this particular weave, I am using a 3/4 inch buckle. These are a little wider, but based on the way we are doing this strand, it gives it a little more room on the buckle, which is definitely a good thing. A tool that I always use to melt the ends on my paracord is this little butane torch guy. Very simple, very easy, very inexpensive. I like using this over a traditional lighter or a candle lighter or the long nose lighter candle that you can find in most stores. Gives you a little more control, but you do have to get used to using it so you don't burn your ends. So you have to be very careful with that. And last but not least, one of the things that I like to cut my paracord with is a set of channel lock pliers. This is a pair of pliers that I had bought from Home Depot. I will tell you this much. For $20, this will be the best $20 you ever spend on a set of pliers that you can use to cut the ends of your paracord. You can use scissors, you can use medical things, whatever you want to. Totally fine. I myself, I like to go with this. With that, I'm going to pause this video real quick, and then we're going to get right back into it and get the party started here. Okay, as you can see, what I have here is I have 3 different cuts of paracord. I've got 2 that are going to be related to the core or the setup for the weave, along with one of the lacing strands. So this bright neon is going to be the top strand there, and then I have both a black and I have a multicolor paracord weave as well. These are going to be the ones that I'm going to lace through and basically create what you would call a 4-strand buckle with this. In some cases, you normally use 1 strand of cord and you make your buckle with that. In this particular case, we're using the 2 strands to go ahead and create that. So with the way this looks, I'm going to go ahead and get started with that in just a second. Okay, so for the inner strand, I am going to use a traditional black paracord. I'm actually using mil-spec paracord, so it's a little tougher. For this particular cut, actually, I'll cover the measurements for all of this. I'm going to measure the bracelet for a little over 9.25 inches in terms of length for my wrist. That will mean the lengths will vary based upon the size of your wrist. So these following numbers will dictate what you should cut or what you cut a little less of if need be. The center main weave that I would be doing the crisscrossing with, which is my black, will be 7 foot in length. With that, I'm going to use this buckle here, and I am going to go through the top and go underneath. So with that underneath, I'm going to bring my other 2 strands through, as you can see, and I'm going to pull those through. As I pull this through, I will get my little center part here, and I want to make sure that my paracord doesn't get a weird knot tight weave. And I want to have the ends of my cord pretty much even. So I am about a 1/2 inch off. So I'm going to readjust this little part here. So as you can see, and I do hope that you can see this, I do apologize, my fingers in the way. So I've gone top down. So the top part of the loop is on the underside, which is fine. That's where I want this one to be. Now for the outer weave is going to be this fun, funky multi-green color here. This being the outer weave. This you will want to cut around 8 feet. So 8 feet will be what you are ultimately looking to do here. With that, I am going to put my ends up through the bottom here. So I'm going to go to the one side. Oops, and to the other. And I'm going to start to pull those through evenly as best as I can without having the cord tangle as best as I can again. So now that I am almost towards the end and you can see it hopefully from here, what I want to do is I want to bring all the cords through. So I'm going to take all 4 cords, I'm going to push them through, top down, and now the funky green is going to be on top of everything, which is what I want. Now with the green cords, I'm going to start to pull those guys tighter and get it up towards the end. So now what I have effectively created is my 4-strand baseline. You also use this with several of the weaves. One would be a sanctified wide. I don't know the names of the other ones, but in terms of creating a weave, you have got your inner and your outer strands. So you can see the outer strand, I have the weave part on top. If you flip upside down, you'll see the traditional center knot right in the middle. I know it's very dark, but you can see the small loop right there. So we've got our 4 strands right there, and they look pretty good. So I'm going to take this whole strand right here, and as best as possible from the length. Oh, I actually kind of mismanaged that measurement a bit. Let me fix the black strand here. Actually, I think I might be able to get away with this. What do you think? Again, like I said, I haven't done many YouTube videos, so I'm going to try to make this a little about as much fun as possible here. Oh, okay. So I went the wrong way on the other side, which is fine. So I'm gonna pull that, then pull that, and I'm gonna retighten it. Hey, we're all learning on the spot here, which is good. I mean, I've done this. I don't mean to sound nervous. I'm just not used to doing videos, but I do enjoy talking. I am no stranger to talking by any means. So I have kind of just re-loosened and retightened up the knots here. And now, hopefully, based upon what we have here, I should be a little more even with the weaves that I have done. So, yep, so I've got my black knots, which aren't too bad, and I've got a little bit of the extra of the green. Not the end of the world. The important thing to do is look at your buckle. I am going to use a jig on this, so I'm actually using 2 buckles, but I want to make sure I use the right buckle for each side. I'm using the female end on this side right now, so I need the male end to go in accordance so I make sure that they connect properly. So I'm going to flatten and keep these 4 weaves as close as possible, have them look neat, and then from here I'm going to put them up through the other side of the buckle, and then from that side is where we're going to start to work on our weave. So I want to turn it and face it the other way, and I'm going to start to put the cords through, as you can see. And I've got my 2 outer weaves. Again, I do apologize for where my hands might be. At some point, if you guys and others like what I'm doing in my videos, I'll spend a little more time on the production side. But really, the main thing is just getting the weave done so everyone can understand how to do it and be able to do it in their own homes pretty easily. So I've got all 4 strands in there. They're not 100% even, but that's okay. I'm just going to work my way through. And now that most of the core is through, I'm going to then kind of even it up. So we see the bottom and we can see the top. I'm going to bring it a little closer. And just want to make sure they are all 1, 2, 3, 4 next to one another, which is good. And I want to be able to turn and pretend that I'm making the buckle. If you don't do that, then your buckles might be wrong, which is fine. Based upon that, we are now going to bring in our jig. I use this speedy jig, and again, I do apologize for the camera angles. What I am going to do now is I'm going to take a second 3/4 inch buckle, and I'm going to put the opposite ends in so I can secure this down onto my jig. So with these guys on here now, I'm going to go with the bottom from here, and I'm going to self-measure myself up to around a little over 9 and almost 9, between 9 1/4 and 9 1/2. I'm going to be just underneath, and I'll lock that up just a little bit so you can see where the line is there. Now, from this particular side, I'm going to give myself a little bit of breathing room, and let me move this back. Going to put it in right inside of there, and I'm going to start to pull my cords through so they're semi-tight. Now I'm going to spread and span these cords so they look to be about that, which is pretty good, which is exactly where we want to be. Now, our original friend, the center cord or the top cord, which is this this bright green color, in terms of the length for this guy, you want this one to be about 6'8" to 6'10". Again, these measurements help reduce the amount of waste you will have once your bracelet is done. So with that, we're going to take this and we're going to put it underneath, and I'm going to see if I can adjust this camera so I've got a little bit of viewing room here. We want to adjust and bring this middle weave through and even it through as best as we can. Bring that all the way up to the top and just get it out of harm's way. So it's under, or it's in between all four cords from top to the middle. So this is what we have right now. Now what we want to do is we want to take our outer strand. We want to go over the top and we want to go between the middle of everything. We're going to start to push it down and we're going to make a bite. This bite, we're then going to bring this black cord up and we're going to pass and go through underneath like this. The reason we are doing this is because we want to create a very small and simple knot just to secure the paracord in place. So as you're doing it, you want to try to pull your knot and keep as much tightness over the length of your cord as you can, along with the core cord. So when you do it, you want to kind of pinch or push a little bit of pressure or put a little bit of pressure on your fingers and tighten that little knot up. So if you do it just right and you stay true to how you tie your knot, you will get your little overhand knot and it will look very much like this. You'll have your center black cord underneath at the bottom. You'll have that knot up top going to the side, and then your center cord is right up there. Easy peasy. And we're going to do the same exact thing on the other side. Let me see if I can move it over. I do believe the camera's probably getting a little blurred now because this is just a simple webcam, but again, I do apologize for this. So we're going to go up and over and then through the middle underneath. And as we go underneath, straight down underneath, oh, all you see is my wrist, so it looks like I'm punching somebody or knocking a door. When you get through that middle part, you want to lift that center black cord or the left center black cord, and then you want to bring your green cord through. And I'll turn this for a moment to see. That is the knot that you want to have. You want to have the green go underneath, and you want to lock, or you want to bring this together as best as you can. So from here, we're going to do the same exact thing. We're going to pull that black cord tight. We're going to pull the green cord tight, the funky green cord. With that, we're then going to start to bring this knot upwards, and we're going to tie it tighter, or we're going to pull that in tighter. So now, once we finally get where we want to be-ish, we're going to have two knots, simple knots, that have gone across, as you see. Black cord, funky green cord, bright green cord. So now when you give it a good look, everything looks pretty decent and uniform. This is where we want to be. And now with this, this is where we're going to start to do our Apollo weave. I'm going to try to adjust my camera a little bit. I'm going to pause and be back in 1 second.